Man, what can't Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson do? He's not only a former UFC flyweight champion of the world, but also a former number one pound for pound fighter in the world and current one championship flyweight champion. And not only is he the champion, but along the line, he took down one of the scariest fighters walking the face of the earth right now in Rod Tang. And now, Demetrius Johnson is the IBJJF Masters World Jiu-Jitsu Champion. At this point, this guy's got more gold than a jewelry store. This is absolutely crazy, the stuff this guy has accomplished. But it really got me thinking. There's a huge debate, probably the biggest debate in combat sports, is why isn't Demetrius Johnson in the GOAT conversation? Why is he so often overlooked when we talk about the greatest fighters of all time? And he is without a doubt one of the best fighters we have ever seen. But I just don't think he makes the cut. So let's talk about why. So here you can see this is Demetrius Johnson's record. And of course, he's got a ton of wins. You see all this green. He got all these W's. He's got that loss to Henry Cejudo, that loss to Adriano Moraes in one championship. So all big wins. But here is where he gets caught up a little bit in this GOAT conversation. He defeated Ray Borg, good fighter. Rice, good fighter. Tim Elliott, good fighter. Henry Cejudo, former champion, Hall of Famer. John Dodson, good fighter. All these are good fighters. But who is the one, aside from Henry Cejudo, who is the one UFC Hall of Famer, big time UFC Hall of Famer, major big fighter, Dominick Cruz? And you can see right here, he lost to Dominick Cruz. Other than Henry Cejudo, the other fighter with the biggest notable name on his record is the loss to Dominick Cruz. So this is definitely what's going to be holding him back, just because he doesn't have any other wins over any other top guys like that. Of course, other than this Henry Cejudo win right here, that holds a lot of weight now, since Henry Cejudo was able to recover, the double champ status and, build his name. But at this win right here at the time wasn't that big of a win. It was just an average win. But Henry Cejudo building himself up to what he is now, this win looks really, really big on his resume right now. But that's the only one. That's the only one. The only other fighter that jumps out is Dominick Cruz right here, but you can see it's a loss. So he's 1-1. But here's where, when we talk about the greatest of all times, here's where John Jones, if we want to scroll down, you can see it. Stephan Bonner, Hall of Famer. Matt Hamill lost, but that was a DQ, so don't count that. And John Jones was dominating that fight. Ryan Bader, Bellator champion. Mauricio Shogun Hua, Hall of Famer and former champion. Rampage Jackson, Hall of Famer, former champion. Lyoto Machida, Hall of Famer, former champion. Rashad Evans, Vitor Belfort, Chael Sonnen, Alexander Gustafsson, Glover Teixeira, Daniel Cormier. The list goes on and on and on. And yeah, he does have some caveats with the first Gustafsson fight. A lot of people thought he lost. And with the Thiago Santos fight and the Dominic Reyes fight. But you can't deny any of these. You can't deny any of this. You can't. There's nothing you can say that in Demetrius Johnson's record or his resume that could beat this. There's just nothing that you could say. Even if he would have beaten Dominic Reyes or Dominick Cruz, you still couldn't really make the argument. You just couldn't. All right, even if you want to go lower than that. All right, let's look at Daniel Cormier. He's in the GOAT conversation. Let's look at his resume. Frank Mir, Hall of Famer. Roy Nelson, Hall of Famer. Dan Henderson, Hall of Famer. Rumble Johnson, Hall of Famer. Gustafsson, Anderson Silva. The list goes on and on for him too. Derek Lewis, Stipe Miocic. Even Daniel Cormier's resume is looking better. And with a lot of wins over very, very big, notable people. Yeah, the loss to John Jones and the loss to Stipe. But those are also two of the top dogs. Stipe Miocic being, the greatest heavyweight of all time. John Jones being the greatest fighter of all time. Those being his only two losses. That's not bad. That is really not bad. All right, let's take it even a step further. Let's look at Khabib. I know a lot of people saying Khabib Nurmagomedov is in the GOAT conversation. Look at his resume. Justin Gaethje, a future Hall of Famer. Dustin Poirier, a future Hall of Famer. Conor McGregor, future Hall of Famer. Edson Barboza, future Hall of Famer, if not already a Hall of Famer. Michael Johnson. Oh, fun fact, I was actually here at this Daryl Orcher fight. This happened in Tampa, Florida. Yep, go over to Cheryl Rashad Evans. So I was actually at this fight live. So I actually got to see Khabib fight, and this was a brutal one. This one, I had the fucked up thing too, is Daryl Orcher's family was in like the same section that we were, and Khabib was just brutalizing him. And for some reason, I don't know who the ref was. The ref was not stopping it. Literally everyone in the stands were screaming at him to stop the fight. And this guy's fucking family were right by us, and they were crying. And after the fight, they like ran all the way down the stairs to go hug him. It was just brutal. But yeah, that was crazy. Rafael dos Anjos, future Hall of Famer. Even Khabib's resume looks better. And I don't even think Khabib is in the GOAT conversation. I know a lot of people want to put him there. Without a doubt, Khabib is the most dominant champion we have ever seen, the most dominant fighter we have ever seen, because he's never really even lost a round. But even his resume doesn't stack up, especially to someone like Jon Jones. The resume just doesn't stack up. Someone who still, even in my opinion, who's not in the GOAT conversation and is still higher than Mighty Mouse is Max Holloway, in my opinion. Chan Sung Jung, Hall of Famer. Alexander Volkanovski, future Hall of Famer. And this should be a win right here. This should be a win, in my opinion. Frankie Edgar, Hall of Famer. Dustin Poirier, future Hall of Famer. You know, Jose Aldo, former champion and Hall of Famer. Anthony Pettis, Hall of Famer. Like Charles Oliveira, future Hall of Famer. You know, he even went down, fought Conor McGregor. You know what I mean? Like, these guys' resumes are stacking up way more than Demetrious Johnson's. And that's just what is hard, right? It's a hard sell to say that Demetrious Johnson is the greatest of all time because of this resume. It's just his resume. That's the only thing that's holding him back. But that's why. Is he one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen? Without a doubt, for sure. For sure. But this is why he's just not in the GOAT conversation, because this doesn't compare to this, Jon Jones. It doesn't compare to Daniel Cormier. It doesn't compare to Khabib. It just doesn't compare. You just can't compare it. They're not similar in any way, shape, or form. And also the big problem with Mighty Mouse's resume also is that they gave him a chance to fight TJ Dillashaw. Yeah, I think what happened was it didn't fall through because he was asking for more money. He wanted more money because it was a super fight. But they offered him the TJ Dillashaw fight, you know, when TJ Dillashaw looked unbeatable at the time, and he turned it down. And even TJ Dillashaw, I'm pretty sure at the time, was offering to come down to 125 to fight Mighty Mouse, and he still turned it down. So it's just hard, man. It's hard to sell that Mighty Mouse is the greatest of all time. But like I said, this is probably one of the biggest debates going on in the combat sports world, especially in the MMA space. I appreciate y'all for watching with me. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Let me know personally, who do you think is the greatest of all time in mixed martial arts? Appreciate y'all. Catch you in the next video.